G'day everyone. So today we're going to be drawing 11. Okay, this time we've got some instructions here to make this easier for us. So you're going to draw the sections of the footing shown on the following page. Landscape position on A3. The set out dimensions are given on A3 paper are 1:1. So we're not going to include those in our final drawing. We're just going to use those to set it out. Scale is 1:10, and the footing size of this left-hand footing is going to be 300 by 300. Just so you know, because I don't think that's specified in the legend here. So we might get to that a little bit later because it does look a little bit trickier than this side. So we're going to use these set out dimensions here to give us the position for our 3 step strip footings over here on the right hand side. So our first one is up 56 and 74 from the right hand side. It's pretty safe to say we're going to be coming over, does it say, gives our first, yep, our first set out is 84 over, and then 112 after that. So what we're going to do is throw the T-square on there. We're going to come over 84 for our first line. Actually, before we do that, see down the bottom we're 84 to this point here, 84, and here we're 65 back to the start. So 84 minus 65 is going to give us this leftover distance here from the margin to the very start, so 19 mil. So the first thing we want to do is come across 19 millimeters. So we're going to put that on the margin so that it's out of the way and easy to see. 19 mil. Alright, we can do a nice long one up there. Next one we're going to do is measuring from the margin again, 84. Okay, so come across 84 from here, a nice faint line on the margin. And from that 84 mark, we're going to come across 112. Okay, so let's mark that on our margin too. Now they're going to be the right hands, like all of them, going to give us our set out for all of these footings. So let's just quickly draw those in now, really faintly. Just going to lock my square off in place. Nice faint line down the page there. Another one over here. Okay, make sure it's light because we don't want to see this later on. Okay, and our last one, 19 mil across. So we should have 3 lines there now. Okay, and that's going to give us this left hand side, this little step part here, and this starting point on our left hand side. So our first one is 56 up to the step. So we can come up from the bottom. My margin sits on about 6 mil on the left with that little red mark. So I'm going to do 6. That's my starting point. 6 plus 56 to give me 62. So I'm going to come up till my little red mark is on 62 in this left hand margin. And I'm going to draw a line that goes from this faint line to this faint line to give us the bottom of that step footing. Okay, so there's our first line there. The next line was up 74. Okay, so if we're starting down here on 6 mil, right on the left hand side, I'm starting on 6. You guys might be slightly different. 6 plus 74 is 80, so I'm going to come up until my red mark is on 80, and I'm going to join this middle faint line to that right hand faint line, like that. That's going to give us the underside of this stepped footing. Okay, now we have to figure out how high this footing is. And it's going to be 300 in the real world. So if we're a 1 to 10, 300 divided by 10 is 30 mil. So if I'm up 80 on the left hand side with my red mark, I'm going to shoot that up to 110. That's correct, isn't it? Yep. 1, 2, 3. Yep. 3 centimeters, and that is going to come across 450 past this line. So 45 past this line. So we're going to do a nice firm line to there. We're going to make sure that we're 450 or 45 mil across for this. Okay, so 45. So I'm on 306 here. 306 minus 45 takes it across to 261 on my rule there, or the square. Okay, so that should give us the shape of our first footing. Our one down here, our bottom line was, I'm on 62 on the left hand side. We're going to come up 30, so it's going to take us to 92. Alright, and we've got to join up those two like that, okay? And then we're going to throw in some verticals. So we've got, clamp this T-square off, just using this short 45 square here, make it a little bit easier for you to see maybe. I'm just going to join all of those together, and then we've got our first footing. So we're also going to have to come back and put our little broken line in here to show that it continues, and some dimensions and some rear. Let's go up to our next one. We know that we're 62 above the top of this. So let's get our, move this the other way. Let's get our T-square back up onto this line. And we know that we're 62 mil up from 1100. Is that right? Yep, up from 1100. So that'll take us to 172. And that was the underside of our next footing. So I'm going to start that and clean that off actually. Just going to draw this line in there from our center faint line to our right hand side faint line. Now we know that we've got to come up 300. So with our 1 to 10 ratio, that's going to be 30 mil. So 1 to 72 is going to take us to 202. And the same thing again. This line should continue to be the same as that line. So that line finished on 261. So we can continue that to 261 as well. And then we can come down 25.8, so about 26 really, from the top of that. So we're on 202. We're going to do 202 minus 258 divided by 10 gives us pretty close to 26 millimeters. So we're going to do minus 26 to take us back down to 176 on the left hand side. Alright, and then that line is going to go right across. Now we've got to come down 300 to give us the bottom of the footing. So that's 30 mil, then a ratio. So from 176 down to 146. And we're going to carry that line all the way from that left hand line to that middle faint line, just like that. And again, we'll lock this square off, jump back in with the T-square, or this square, you know what I mean, and connect all those verticals together. And we've got our second footing there. And we've got our top footing, so we're up on our plan. We've got 39 mil here as our set out dimension to the underside of this top. So unclip that, check what this was, 202 plus 39 gives us 241. Right, and that's the underside. So this underside goes from that right hand side to here. And then thickness was 30 mil, so we're going up from 241 to 271. Going right up close to the top of the page now. And again, we're taking that across to 261. Okay. Across the page, 261. Sorry that my line was a little bit messy there. Then we're going to come down 86. So 86 is one brick course, as you can see on our drawing. So coming down 86, divide that by 10, or about 8.5 mil. So I'll just fix that up a little bit. It's embarrassing. Disgusting, that one's too thick. So 271 down 8.5 mil gets us to 263.5, I think. This is starting on 261 across to the left hand faint line, and then down 30 mil. So 263.5 going down 30 mil takes us to 233.5. Yeah, about there. So going from that left hand faint line all the way across to that right hand center faint line, and then we can just join all of those up. Feel free to pause, rewind if you missed something or if it went a little bit too fast or confusing. You can watch it over and over and over again until you get it. Okay. So there we've got our 3 footings. Okay, the outlines of our 3 footings. Now we've got to put in some Rio. So how are we going to do that? Well, what's our typical effective cover? Usually about 50 mil, roughly. Footings usually about 40 mil. Might even say in our legend. Nope, doesn't say. Let's just run with 40 mil. So 40 in the real world divided by our scale of 1 to 10 will give us 4 mil. So we know that we can start from 4 mil in from the edge for our rear. So coming up, I'm on 62 with my little faint red mark on this left hand set out dimensions. So we're going to come up 4 mil to take us to 66. And we're going to come across 4 mil from here. So that's going to be 302. I'm just going to do a line the whole way across the page. Not across the page, but till I get to that edge of the footing there. Okay. Same up here. I'm going to come down 4 mil. So I'm on 11 over there, so I'm going to come down, so it's going to be 10.6. And I go 4 mil in from the left and draw that the whole way across. Okay. Same thing when we get down here, we're going to come down 4 mil from that, and we're going to finish it on the same mark, so 32 across, or 302, sorry. So here I'm on 92, at the top of that, we're going to come down 4 mil, from the top of that mark, and we're going to go all the way across to 302, basically in line with that bottom one. Same thing here, we're going to come up from that edge 4 mil and finish in line with that one, which was 265. So we're going to come up 4 mil, go from 265 all the way across. Okay. And then we're going to put in some vertical connections. There you go. We've also got one on each end. So we're going to come across 10 million from each end, just so it's a little bit easier. I might come in about 15 from this end, just to try and match the drawing. There's a video done for that one. So next one up, we're going to do the same thing pretty much. So this time these are cogged bars. Okay, the last time these bottom ones are overlapped. The next row up shows cogged, which means the ends are curved. Okay, so these ones should have a little radius on them to show that they're curved, they're cogged. So exactly the same thing again. We're going to come up 4 mil and we're going to stop it pretty much the exact same point. I might just put these in really faint here, just so that you might not be able to see them, but they'll put them on your page so that you can hardly see them as well, so it gives you a reference point to work to. So I come up 4 mil from the bottom. You know, instead of taking it right to that line, we'll be about 2 mil just short, which means I can put that little curve in there, that little radius of that little curve, okay? Show that it's cogged. This next one up though, if we come down 4 mil, that one can run all the way in, because that one's going to be tied off. Very top one is going to be cogged, okay? So stop that a little bit short from your mark there. Which is what I literally said to do and didn't do. Very stupid. You get the idea. Okay, next one up. We're going to come up 4 mil to there. That one runs all the way through. Okay, and we're going to have our vertical. Well, the cogs are going all the way down and all the way up. And then we can put these vertical supports in line with the rest. Very last one. So we've got cranked bars in the top. These are continuous, they've just been bent to follow the footing. So we're just going to have to take a bit of a guess where we want these to go. Okay. So again, we might come across the 4 mil on this side. I'm just going to put a really faint line in. And then this side we might come over about 100 mil, which would be 10 mil in this drawing, and put a faint line at the top. Give us an idea of where to crank these bars to. So we're coming up 4 mil, just to there, down 4 mil, which is to there, and then these ones again down 4 mil, and up 4 mil from the bottom. And then we just join those together. There are crank bars for our footing. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. So that's about it for the right hand side, how to draw that. I want you guys to go ahead and put all the detail that you can see here. So we've got step screw footings, we've got overlap bars, we've got 2 brick cores, we've got dimensions, overlap cog bars up here, 3 brick core step, we've got dimensions here, cranked bars at the top, more dimensions, a bit more information, 1 brick core step plus our dimensions there. Okay, so I want you guys to go ahead and put all of those in. Then I also want you to put this legend in, and we're going to try and work on drawing this now. So our left hand side, we're coming up 102. So the bottom of our page is on 6, so we're coming up to 102 plus 6 is 108. Gonna draw a really faint line to the middle of the page. So we're working up off that line, and then we're coming over 71 until we reach the edge of the footing. It's very hard to see there, but it's that corner in there, the corner of the footing. Okay, so I'm going to come 71, and that's where I'm going to start my 300 mil wide footing. So I'm going to go from 71 to 101. Okay, so that's where we're starting at. I'm going to come up 30 mil for the footing, both sides, and there's sort of the base of our footing. Okay, next thing we can draw in is our formwork on either side. So we've got our formwork here, we've got 20 mil thick form shutters, so 20 mil divided by 10 is 2 mil, and they run the whole way top and bottom of our drawing. Okay, so going over 2 mil from 71 to 69, and we can draw that vertical in, as well as the one on the right hand side from 101 to 103, and put our top and bottom lines in. You might want to put in some hatching now, just so that you remember what everything is, what everything is, because it might get a bit confusing as we put more and more lines on the page. Next thing we've got is another little bit of formwork here, just to help strengthen it up, and that would be in line with our cage. So we said 40 mil for our internal cage for our effective cover, so we're going to come up 4 mil from the bottom, and in 4 mil from the sides, whole way around. Draw little deformed bars on there like that, just so you know what it is. Okay, and then on the outside of our formwork, we've got those two lining up with our cages, so we're going to draw those through 2 mil top and bottom, and we can draw those vertical lines in there, just like this. And then go ahead and throw some hatching on there so you can remember what those are. Next we've got to throw our pegs in. Now our pegs run quite high. You can see that we've got 50 by 50 support pegs from the shutters, so they're going to be 5 mil wide because we're 1 to 10. And we've also got let's see our height. Shutter cleats. Oh, sorry, these were the shutter cleats. 190 by 20. So 19 mil. 19 mil. Ooh, a little bit big. Sorry about that. That's my mistake. These are the shutter cleats just on the outsides of the formwork. So we're going to put those support pegs in. Let's make them a little bit higher than our formwork so that we can put our braces back in. If our depth of our footing was 300, I'd say that these were probably about 450 high. Okay, so let's make these 45 mil high, and they're going to be 5 mil wide from the edge of our formwork. Okay, so we're going to come across 5 mil to there. We're going to go 45 high. So feel free to put the top lines on, and then these are going to carry through the dirt, but showing this hidden detail here. Okay, so we can carry those through. They look like they go through about 100 mil before the point forms. So let's go 100 mil below, or 10 mil, sorry, with our scale of hidden detail below the ground level there, and then we can put a point on the underside of those. Like that. Next thing we can draw is we've got these things we could throw our spreader. So we've got reinforcement cage suspended off spreader. So our spreader is 40 by 40. Okay, so 40 by 40, and it runs a little bit past our outside of our pegs. Okay, and that's going to be in line with the top of our formwork. So we can probably run it about 40 mil past the outside of our pegs, and the spreader runs behind the pegs. So make sure that you don't draw it across the front of the pegs. Okay, and we said they're 40 by 40, so 4 mil up from the top of the formwork. And, oops, forgot the middle one. So there's our spreader there. We just put these vertical lines in like that. Now we've got 2 braces to put in. Okay, so these braces go back to 2 pegs. So might use this square this time to draw our braces in. And these braces look about 450 as well. Okay, so I might just draw those in really faintly. We said 450, so I'm just putting my 100 mark in line with the tops of the pegs, about 2 mil higher. Okay, and I'm just going to go on a 30-degree angle, which is a bit steep, but at least it'll be consistent. 45 deep. Maybe not. That looks a little bit ridiculous. Where's my eraser? Here it is. Maybe we won't go so steep. Alright, we know that the ground level is roughly the height of top of formwork, so I'm just going to draw a bit of ground up like this, okay, either side. We can do this a little bit neater now, so we can come across from the edge of your from the outside of your peg about 25 mil. I reckon that's probably a pretty good spot to put your little pegs into the ground. Actually just going to use the metal, where it is, the metal ruler to draw these pegs in, because they're not all that steep and they're not very long. Okay, so I'll leave it up to you how big you want to make them. There's no right or wrong. Just remember that if they're in the ground, they're hidden detail. Okay, so I've got one peg here, and then I'm just gonna sort of join those up like this. Oh, this rubber always makes things worse. Let's get the old eraser shield out. I don't care anymore. Alright, and then we'll draw this one. Approximately 4 mil over. And then the same on the other side. So how far we come across? About 25 mil. Yep, and then we got a nice faint. Something like that. Yep, and then we can connect all these up. There we go. I think that's about it. So go ahead, put all your hatching in for your dirt and all that. All your little dots, put all your dots on. What else we got? We got hatching for anything else. We've done that already for the timber. And yep, whatever, put all your dots in. Show that, then you can put the legend in, put our title of this drawing in, and put your little arrows in with your numbers next to it to indicate what's what from the legend. And that's about it. Nice easy one. Looks way harder than it was. Hope you all agree. Okay, so throw in all your dimensions, all of the details and stuff, and upload when you're done. Thank you.